Hello Bard haters, and welcome to another Find Me Hate Bards Let's Play. I'm Ben, and this is more Fallout New Vegas, Hardcore Permadeath. Having finished up the Crimson Caravan as much as I can, I'm back here at the Atomic Wrangler. I'm going to kind of give you a quick run through on what I've done in the off-screen time. Because I've mostly just done a bunch of various, finishing up bits and bobs. So what I did was, first off, I had after turning in the quest of the Crimson Caravan, I had close to enough money to buy my next implant. So I went out and scrounged up about another 500 caps to do so, and went and bought my luck implant. Because I wanted to come back here, which leads me to the second thing I did, which was I played casino games, specifically blackjack. Because some people actually don't know this. If you have a high enough luck, you can all but guarantee victory in blackjack. The other ones, they have a slightly lower rate of return. I don't know exactly what the rate of return is on them. But specifically, if you play blackjack, I have a luck of 8 right now with my new luck implant, and I won about 90% of my games. I barely lost. So probably with a luck of 7, I could have come in here and done it, albeit at a bit of a slower rate. But I wanted to make sure that I'd be able to get high enough that I could, get this over with quickly and effectively. So yes, I played, and you can do this, until I bankrupted the Atomic Wrangler. They will now not let me play any of their games anymore. And if I go to play slots, I've reached the jackpot limit, which for the Atomic Wrangler is 5,000. So for the Tops and Gamora, it's actually 10,000 jackpot limit for them. And then for the final one, for the Ultralux, it's 15, I believe. So you can get a crap ton of caps if you have a decent luck. And that's a good way of just, scrounging caps so you can buy pretty much anything you ever need. But now that I've done that, it's time to finish up around Freeside before heading on into the Strip. And to do that, we're going to talk to Francine Garrett, who has been patiently waiting for me behind this counter here.
Welcome to the Atomic...
We'll ask her if she has any work that needs doing.
Well...
And she needs me to go and collect money from someone. So with Speech 35 or a Barter 35, we can convince her to cut it 50-50. And with that, she's got a deal. We need to go after Grex, Lady Jane, and Santiago. We're not going to do, actually, Santiago quite yet, because first thing I want to do is I want to talk to Francine Garrett's brother, which essentially means I'm going to have to wait a few hours for him to show up. There he is. James Garrett.
Welcome to the Atomic Rank.
Because he also has work that needs doing. So we've got the Debt Collector and Wang Dang Atomic Tango that we can now do. The reason I wanted Wang Dang Atomic Tango was because one of the people we have to recruit is a suave talker, and there's technically 2 people we could recruit for that. We could go and recruit old Ben, but we could also recruit Santiago. He is option B for that quest. And if you do so, it will count as having collected the caps on him. So for this, the first person I'm going to grab is Lady Jane, who should be right over here sitting by this campfire. And she will try to sweet-talk us. I will tell her that, I could give... There's something else of value you could put towards it.
I'm sure.
And there's that. She'll give us most of her money, plus a few things in payment. And then she's just going to run as fast as she can out into the wastelands of New Vegas to, as she said, start anew. I don't know if that means she's planning to go all the way back to the NCR capital by herself, through all the horrible things that are out there, or if by start anew she essentially means I'm going to kill myself, hope that reincarnation is a thing, and then come back as a mud crab or something. As for Grex, you'll find him right here.
Hey man,
he's a really, really ugly looking ghoul. We'll ask him if he's collecting money to pay back the Garretts. Speech of 40. We'll connive more out of him. And we need 60. I think with a 60 speech, you can actually tell him, give me the clothes off your back as well. And I've done that a couple times. It's actually quite entertaining. I mean, you feel like an utter monster when you're done, but at the very least, it's good for a few cheap laughs. Finally, Santiago is at the far end of where you find Grex. Or to the left of where you enter in. Oh, fuck, I have advanced dehydration now. Oh, well, I'll deal with it later.
Santiago.
That also means, with Santiago heading towards the Atomic Wrangler to work up his debt, we have transitioned smoothly from Debt Collector into Wang Dang Atomic Tango. So let's go and find the rest of the people for that quest, shall we? The first person we need to find, well, first person technically Santiago, but if we're looking for a ghoul cowboy, there happens to be one right here. Unfortunately, she is female, so it doesn't quite meet all the requirements, but she'll work. And in order to get her to actually sign on with him, we need to tell her that you can get a big discount on the booze, or maybe free booze, if you just go and help him out. One other thing we can do while we're here recruiting Beatrix for the Atomic Wrangler is if we can find Julie Farkas, we can start another quest for the Followers of the Apocalypse. Julie Farkas? Julie Farkas? You're not Julie Farkas. Julie Farkas has a really crazy Ah, there's Julie Farkas. So Julie Farkas will tell us that they need medical supplies here at the Followers Fort. And we need to get her a steady stream. So we happen to know a few people who would be willing to help her out. That's the nice, easy way to get the followers to like you if you really want to do that. So to find the sex bot, which is the last thing we need to find for Wang Dang Atomic Tango, you need to go all the way around the far edge of the first part of Freeside. So from where the Followers Fort is, go straight down that back alley, all the way around the outside edge to here until you find this building, which is the Cerulean Robotics building. Inside, we're going to find a few giant rats, which we can take out quite easily with our Ripper. Wow, there are way more of these things than I thought. Once you kill all the giant rats, come over here to the Protectron programming interface. We are going to need to hack it, so I'll come back when I've finished. Alright, so after a few failed tries, I managed to finally get in. So what we need to do is we need to upload programming routine. And with the science, I think you only need a science 50. You can program a sexbot routine. And once you're done, he'll come right out of there. And everyone, meet Fisto.
Fully integrated secure.
Yeah, sure, fuck it, why not? Let's have sex with the robot. And now he's going to head over to the Atomic Wrangler to work for James Garrett. So if you don't have a high enough science to actually do that, or if you've been neglecting science, there's actually an ID card in that facility that will get you in. I didn't show it off, but you look around, you kill all those rats, you'll find it. As far as the actual sexbot routine, again, if your science is not high enough to make the sexbot routine work, you can go to Mick, I believe, at Mick and Ralph's, and he will program it for you. Now all we have to do is come back to the Atomic Wrangler and talk to James Garrett.
Welcome back.
And we can tell him we found all the people that he wanted us to find. And I think for completing the quest, we get a bunch of extra experience. Yep, there it is, 585. And then we'll tell them that the followers need to trade with someone for supplies. So we're going to work out a deal between the two of them. And with that, our reputation in Freeside goes up to accepted.
I hear you've been helping out.
For this part of the quest, I feel like I should clarify something. Because I'm well aware that there is a bug associated with it. And I'm pretty sure it is not in the more recent updates. I think they got it taken care of. In the original Fallout New Vegas, what would happen is if you took this quest, it was very easily possible to complete it in such a way that every time you went back onto the strip, the game would freeze. And I will explain exactly what would cause that to happen. I'll deal with Caleb McCaffrey later, when I actually want to go onto the strip, because before I full-on go there and prepare for the next part of the game, specifically the entire second half where I'm trying to make friends with the factions, one last thing I want to do in Freeside is go and help out Mr. King. Now, I don't know how high my speech has to be for this, but just to make sure it is high enough, I'm actually going to use a meeting people. I'm really hoping this wasn't a waste.
What do we have here?
And speech is 60. Yep, I'm new in town and I wanted to pay my respects. I don't actually know what you need to complete that. You may only need a 50 speech, in which case I had plenty. But I wanted to make sure that I would have enough to do it. So all the king wants us to do is we need to go and hire a guy named Oris. Is it Oris or Orton? Okay, so we need to go hire Oris near the northern gate of Freeside, which is over here. Because the king feels suspicious about how he's making so much money and getting so much clientele. He's actually right to be suspicious, because Oris, as it turns out, and as we will see in the completion of the quest, has been staging attacks on tourists, and then saving them from those attacks, to try and drum up repeat business. Okay, how much? 200 caps, I will hire you, and then we're just going to run our way through the center of Freeside. What the hell? Am I about to get one of the kings coming up to me and telling me I'm awesome?
Hey, you're the one.
Where are you at, Oris? Oris! Oris? There we go. So I'm just going to skip this and go straight up to the part where we complete the thing. Yep, he started shooting people now, or pretending to anyway. There's 3 people around the corner you missed.
Gotcha. Thought you could ambush us, huh?
And with an intelligence of 6, we can point out, and you probably noticed it during that little session there, he only fired 3 shots, but 4 guys went down. So we're not going to point out that he's full of shit yet. Actually, I think this guy is... Well, that explains. Because when I came around the corner, he started firing at this guy, emptied an entire clip into this guy, and I'm thinking, is that supposed to happen? Because I don't think it was. Medicine Authority will allow us to see that they're not actually dead. The guy over there is. He's an actual thug that was going to attack us if we didn't kill him. Those 4 are just working for Oris. And, yep, we're then going to immediately start running back this way, and he's not going to be suspicious of that at all. So we're back at the king's place, and he's not actually in the main room we're supposed to be. Probably because it's later at night. But if he's not there, all you need to do is climb up the 2 sets of stairs, or climb up that first set of stairs, curl to the right, come up the second set of stairs, and he will be right in this room over here. Yep, this one right with the open door. He's sitting right there with his puppy next to him.
What do you have for me?
Oris tried to play me for an idiot. And now the king has another thing he wants to do, since we've helped him out with this. First of all, he's going to probably have Oris killed. Well, not probably. He straight up said, I'm going to have Oris killed. He wants me to take care of another problem he's having with some people at the old Mormon fort. Specifically, some of Freeside's citizens actually got attacked by a group of people, and the king wants to know why. And in this first tent on the right, once we get into the old Mormon fort, we will find Roy and Wayne. So Roy wasn't able to tell us much, but Wayne apparently can. So after talking to them, we found out that they have a military rank structure, most likely meaning that they are NCR. As for why the NCR is going after citizens of Freeside, that's something we're going to figure out as we do the quest.
Have you found anything out?
Good news, it's only the NCR, so we can probably take them without a problem. The thing about this quest is it's actually quite easy to do, it's just talking to a bunch of people. But that also sucks, because it means you're basically just talking to a bunch of people. Because we just had to come here to get the quest, we went all the way out to the Mormon fort, talked to the people, came all the way back, now we've got to go all the way out to the Mormon fort again, and then we've got to go back by where we found the sex spots to find the NCR. Then, after we're done with that, we get to go back and talk to the king again, who will then send us back out by where the NCR is.
If it can be bought,
It's back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. There's not even really any risk associated with it. I mean, technically you can get attacked while doing the quest if you do something really stupid later.
Hello.
But as long as you don't pull your gun out when people say don't pull your gun out, generally you'll be okay. And we had to come back up to this part of the Mormon fort to once again find Julie Farkas sleeping.
Hey,
So we're going to wake
good
her up
see
and
you.
ask her for advice on how to deal with the NCR soldiers.
Only
And now that we've mentioned that to... Wait, whoa, no.
Hey,
Not quite that.
good to
I just
see
remember. I just remember something else we need to do. I found someone who can cover your supplies. They're the Garrett twins.
upgrade.
So that's... This quest is almost finished. We will have to go back to the Atomic Wrangler later. Which admittedly we have to go back there anyway to turn in the quest for Francine, but whatever. But what talking to Julie Farkas will do for this particular quest is it will allow us to mention Julie Farkas' name to one of the NPCs we'll be interacting with. And as a result, she'll give us help that she wouldn't have given us otherwise. So to find the NCR, we have to come right back around here, and as I mentioned, the sex spot was just over there. And in this little niche hidden away is a ruin store, but we have to talk to the NCR troopers to actually do this first. With speech of 30, we can talk our way in and say we're here to see Major Kieran. So she'll give us free food and water just for talking to her, but we'll ask her when asking her about serving the locals food. We'll ask her why. Then mention Julie Farkas because we have that information available. And once we've mentioned Julie, she will let us know that they actually sent an envoy to the king to look into friendly relations, but apparently the messenger was beaten up severely and then sent back. In actuality, the king didn't know anything about it. It was his right-hand man, Pacer, the guy we had to speech check our way back to get to the king. He was the one who beat it the hell out of the messenger guy. And if we hadn't talked to Julie Farkas and been able to reference her name to Major Kieran, I'm not sure we could have actually completed that quest properly. I think we would have had to go back and tell the king they're serving food to NCR citizens but not locals. And it would have caused the tensions between them to increase.
You want someone dead?
Which we don't want, because later on there will actually be another quest to be given by the NCR to solve this exact situation. Oh look, Pacer's gonna try and intimidate me. What's my silence worth to you? And we'll tell him that we're not actually going to rat him out to the king, but we are totally going to go and rat him out to the king. Who is now, even though he's not generally down here at like 1:30 in the morning, he is for this bit because there is a set piece that has to occur right now. And that guy will just spawn in from outside of the king. Presumably the king just learned how to asexually reproduce. So that conversation was to let us know that Pacer decided to go and pick a fight with the NCR for stupid fucking reasons. And now, because he's getting his ass handed to him, we need to go and rescue him. Yep, and there's Pacer, you know, huddled up in that little area. But since all his friends are dead... Oh, they only got 357 Magnums. That's a shitty weapon.
Draw a weapon and we will fire.
They're not joking either. This is a point where you can fuck yourself if you get stupid. Because if you pull a weapon out here, they'll start shooting at you, and the only way to resolve it will be to kill all of them. Which then means the NCR will hate you, and it'll screw you over later on when you're trying to help them out. But all we actually have to do to stop this is walk down here to Major Kieran,
This isn't really
who's chilling outside right now, and tell her that the king wants to help. And she'll call off the attack. The king will talk to Pacer, and presumably he'll talk to Pacer. He says he's going to. And speaking of which, there he goes right now. Still freaked out because he took on the NCR like a freaking moron. So an interesting thing just happened. The king was not where he was when I left here, but Rex was. Rex was still waiting down here, and the second that I came through the door, he just started running up to stand next to the king. And Rex managed to beat me because he's a dog, so of course he freaking did.
I heard all about what happened. You've helped us plenty, so I'll tell you what. Just this once.
And from that, we'll
whatever
gain
you want,
1,300
if I can make
experience,
it
and
happen.
we will level up.
Don't rush it, though.
So I'm going to be dumping loads of points into speech this round, because I've got a couple of tougher speech checks coming up. One in particular back at the Followers' Fort, or the Mormon Fort with the Followers of the Apocalypse. So I need to make absolutely sure I'll be able to do it. As for lockpick, I'm going to move it from 69 to 71, because since I'm getting, I think, a +2, I'm not only getting a +2 from my beret, but if I then go and get the perception implant, I'll have a lockpick of 75. Now, admittedly, at the end of that quest, the king did offer me the chance for a favor. He said he would give me pretty much anything I wanted or needed. And as a result, I now have that available. Not going to use it quite yet. As I said, there's a quest later on where we're going to need to come back and talk to the king. So I'm going to save the favor for that particular moment. I'm also going to use that time, because I'll, hopefully have gotten to Jacobstown by then. I'll be able to use that time to take Rex out to Jacobstown and get the brain implant that he needs, and thus complete Rex's loyalty quest. One last thing I want to do this part, and I want to make very careful, make very sure that I show you how to do it properly. As I mentioned earlier on, there is a bug associated with, with Debt Collector. There's a bug associated with it, in regards to Caleb McCaffrey. Because as you can see, Caleb McCaffrey standing right there. The bug is, if you shoot him and kill him and take his hat, which Francine Garrett wants you to bring her his hat, it could potentially bug out. How the bug works is, it has to do with the way you take gear off of people. So, if you jib somebody, if somebody gets, jibbed and their pieces thrown all over the place, you can then loot the pieces and loot their armor off of them. If you do that, the armor on the main part of their body, parts that you didn't loot, will still be there. The armor on the part of the body you looted will not be. So in other words, if you send their torso flying in that direction and their arms over there, and you go and loot the torso will lose its armor, but the arms will still have armor on them. Same with the head. You can loot, their headgear from their body if the head gets separated from the body, and if you do so... That is some impressive moonwalking right there. Yep. If you do that, then the helmet will be removed from their inventory, or hat or whatever, but it will still be on the character sprite. This is where the bug comes in. Basically, if you shoot Caleb McCaffrey in the head or in the chest, and his head explodes, and you loot the hat from anywhere other than his head, the hat will still be on his head, while at the same time being in Francine Garrett's inventory, or you having to give it to Francine Garrett, and this is what causes the bug. So there are several ways to avoid it. The first is just don't jib him, or if you do, make sure you loot the head to get the hat. That is the easiest way to get around the bug. But the other way to get around the bug, and really an alternate way to just get rid of the quest in general,
Something.
if you talk to Caleb McCaffrey, just tell him to give me his share of the caps, and he can go free. And a speech check of 40 is all we need, which we have way higher than that now. And then we just go back and tell Francine Garrett that we took care of things, even though we technically didn't. Even though the quest tells you you do need to kill him to actually complete it successfully, as you can see me doing, you could just lie. You could easily lie your way through it, and it's actually preferable to do so. Because otherwise it involves getting in a gunfight on the strip, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it can be ill-advised, especially if you hit someone other than Caleb McCaffrey. Now we're back here in the Atomic Wrangler. All we have to do is talk to James Garrett
Hey, chum. Welcome back.
to let him know that Julie Farkas has accepted his offer. And so the followers will give them their technology in exchange for the Garretts providing the followers with chems and supplies and everything else. Now, as for Francine Garrett, I think she might be sleeping as of right now.
What can I get you, friend?
And my dehydration level increased again, but I'm almost to a point where I can fix that really easily. She'll give us 150 caps, she'll take McCaffrey's hat, and again, doing it this way avoids the bug. So there we are. That's Freeside largely done. There is one more quest that I'm aware of that I missed, which is helping Julie Farkas deal with some of the local addicts like Jacob Hoff and Bill Aranti. I'll probably do that later. Actually, I'll definitely do that later. Maybe it'll be as part of one of the later parts. Maybe I'll off-screen it. I haven't decided yet, but yeah. That's the only quest I didn't do. Other than that, pretty much everything else over there is dealt with. Went into the Silver Rush a little bit. Oh, that's another quest I forgot to do. I didn't actually do the quest associated with the Silver Rush, where I have to act as the bodyguard and bounce people away. But yes, now, since we are here, we can finally go into the Lucky 38 and see what Mr. House wants from us. I will also reveal at that point which of the 4 story paths I'm going to be taking, because there are 4 different ways to do it, which is kind of one of the nice things about New Vegas. We can either side with the NCR and help them win the Battle of Hoover Dam. We can side with the Legion and help them win the Battle of Hoover Dam, which essentially means wiping out the NCR and taking this area over for the Legion. We can work with Mr. House, which means we're not going to be fighting with anyone. We're going to pretend to fight with the NCR and then betray them at the last minute, so that, you know, by weakening both sides, Mr. House will then have enough manpower to hold this area by himself. Or, if all of those options seem like they suck, we can find a particular friend of ours located at the Tops Casino, right over there, and we can go talk to him, and he will help us take over New Vegas for ourselves at the expense of all the other 3 factions. And I will reveal which of those 4 paths I will be taking sometime in the next part. But as of right now, thanks as always for watching, guys. I was Ben, and this was Fallout New Vegas Hardcore Permadeath. See you next time, everyone.